Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by Tums. A glorious morning in Provo, Utah at the foothills of the Wasatch Mountain Range, overlooking the number 11 team in the country, the BYU Cougars, who have already punched their ticket to the Big 12 title game, riding the arm and legs of Bear Bachmeier and their leading rusher, LJ Martin, trying to avoid an upset by the upstart UCF Knights, who need a win by Scott Frost today to advance to a bowl game in the postseason. With Arizona's win last night against Arizona State, BYU has secured their rematch with Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game next week in Arlington. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher alongside the former Ohio State Buckeye captain Dustin Fox, who won 3 times against the team from up north. And Dustin, while this is not a rivalry game, this game has a ton of meaning for both teams, and particularly UCF.
Well, UCF, if they don't win this game today, they're going home. Their season's over. For BYU, they know they're going to be playing more football a week from today, but they also know they may be playing in the college football playoff. But today, it's all about these seniors, man.
It is a senior-laden team, and yet they are led by the true freshman quarterback, Bear Bachmeier, who has been sensational this year.
No, he really has. And for such a young player to be able to have this leadership ability, it's remarkable. You know, LJ's been leading for years, right? Leading rusher, doing all these great things. Well, now in comes Bear Bachmeier, who has a very similar characteristic, the way he runs the football. And that leads us to our Tecovas Player Spotlight, which is the dynamic duo. Take a look at what these two have combined to do on the ground this year. Almost 1,700 yards rushing, 19 total touchdowns. They are the epitome of getting it done on the ground.
Well, Bear Bachmeier became the first true freshman quarterback in program history to start the season opener, and all he has done is get better each week. And it's helped to have the junior LJ Martin in the backfield with him. There's a comfort there with these two guys. And they will watch first as BYU won the toss and elected to defer in front of a sold-out crowd at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And a fair catch by Jaden Nixon will get us started with UCF as we take a look at today's Mattress Firm Player Spotlight.
Well, Matt, that's going to lead us to our impact players today. And as we start an offense here for UCF, it's their 2 backs. They have another dynamic duo in the backfield, and they really do a great job. And that's a concern for BYU and their defensive coordinator, Jay Hill. But they've got some studs back there, especially at linebacker. Jack Kelly, and of course, Tanner Wall, the 5th-year man at safety, is really the quarterback of this defense. He's beloved here in Provo, and this will be his last ball game as a senior.
Jackson will throw on first down, hits Dwayne Thomas Jr., their leading wide receiver. Sherry Burris is on the sideline.
Well, Matt, one element in this game that the UCF team is going to have to deal with are these cooler temperatures. It's about 33 degrees colder here in Provo, Utah than it is in Orlando, Florida. So this UCF equipment team packing extra things like these beanies. I'm told the most they brought are these hot hands. They have the heated benches. But quarterback Taven Jackson even telling me they practiced an hour earlier to prepare for these cooler temps. But something we're going to have to watch for. But look at this, Matt.
They are waving incomplete on the field. Incomplete on the field.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
And Sherry, it was interesting as you were talking about Taven Jackson. He pumped the football and then lost it.
Yeah, he did try to throw the football. The second time, it was an attempt, I think. And a good call, I believe, by the officials to rule it as an incomplete pass.
That was bizarre. He evaded
really bizarre.
tacklers, got out of trouble, bought himself that extra time. It's funny, Sherry, though. We chatted with BYU head coach Kalani Sitake yesterday. He told us we didn't quite get the blizzard today that we were hoping to get against UCF coming up from Orlando. And now 3rd down and 4 for Taven Jackson. 3-man rush. Jackson Buying time. Throws back across his body, hits his man for a first down. And it is Waden Charles, the true freshman, with a gain of 16.
This is a pretty remarkable play here by Taven Jackson. He's running off to his right, rolling to his right, I should say. And just at the very last moment, he's able to find his target and come back across his body and find Charles for the first down. A tremendous pickup there by the Knights.
Taven Jackson, one of 4 different quarterbacks to play this year for UCF, though he has been the primary starter. Here's Miles Montgomery with a good run. Watch out for Montgomery. Taken down by Tanner Wall. A touchdown saving tackle stops it for an 18-yard gain.
This play basically just gets sealed off. It's supposed to be a wide zone play, and everybody's blocked up really well by the Knights up front. And you can see the vision and patience of Miles Montgomery, and this is an absolutely perfect start here for the Knights on their first offensive drive.
Pre-snap penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 55, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The one blemish on an otherwise excellent start to this game for a UCF offense that has struggled with penalties and turnovers this year. Scott Frost told us, despite our 6 losses, we've been in almost every game. We've just struggled to make the consistent tough play down the stretch. And those self-inflicted wounds have certainly been a factor. But Dustin, if they can get 7 on the opening drive here, what a start it would be for a Scott Frost team that's trying to get bowl eligible with a win here today.
It would be huge for these seniors and for everybody involved in this program. I mean, Scott Frost, first year back, his second stint as head coach of the Knights. It hasn't been quite the start that he would have liked. He said he could write a book about his very first year as head coach in the NIL era. So a lot of growing pains that Scott Frost has had to go through this year.
Back to the ground. Montgomery was bottled up that time. And this has sort of been the story of the year for UCF. When their offense has really clicked, they've looked tremendous, but then they've had those penalties and negative plays that have put them behind schedule.
Those penalties, especially the pre-snap penalties, Matt, those are the ones that can be drive killers. And here we are now, 3rd down defense for BYU. It's darn good in the FBS, and you can see how they have struggled, to say the least, in Central Florida.
3rd and 13. Jackson feeling heat. Floats it and hits Dwayne Thomas Jr. Thomas Jr. to the end zone. But a flag is down, and UCF responding as if it's against them, possibly negating a 38-yard touchdown.
Holding, number 13, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, still first down.
Chris Dahmerkant downfield, who missed last week against Oklahoma State. His first series back healthy, and the penalty negates the touchdown.
Was the hold late down the field?
Inside the 10-yard line.
Inside the 10-yard. Okay, so it's still going to be, obviously a first down, and they're going to have it right about the 20-yard line. So still a positive play, because it was a huge 3rd down. Coach Frost obviously very visibly upset about the call. I don't even know that it was really that much of an egregious hold there at the end of that play. Nonetheless, here you go.
Jackson dumps it down to Montgomery. Cannot slip out of the tackle of Maury Bamba.
Let's go back, Matt, and just take a peek at that hold by Dahmerkant. He's right here. He's just kind of waiting around. I guess he's got a little bit there on the outside of the jersey, and there's a little bit of a slip there too. by Alford.
Well, UCF did not score in the opening half last week against Oklahoma State. Mounted a 17-point comeback in the second half. Would love to get on the board here early in BYU. There is Caleb Rollerson, and that will be enough to move the chains. Goal to go for the Knights.
Now you talked about this red zone offense and how they've struggled, but let's take a look at the footing down there on the field. We've seen a couple players already slip, Matt, early in the ball game, and you can tell this is a natural grass surface, which, by the way, I love a natural grass surface, but this time of the year, this is the final regular season home game. The natural grass starts to break down a little bit here in December.
Zip out to Dylan Wade, one of the top tight ends in the nation this year. Tackled by Talon Alfrey. One of the seniors getting some extra run in the secondary today for BYU.
Alfred getting a little bit of love as he gets the start this afternoon for the Cougars.
How about the weak Dylan Wade?
Yeah, what a game he had, man, against the Cowboys in that big win a week ago.
11th play of this opening drive for UCF. On second and goal, Jackson to the end zone for a touchdown. And he does find Dylan Wade for the opening score of the game.
Well, so, Matt, you just talked about Alfrey and how he's getting the start today, but he's the one right here I believe should be matched up against Dylan Wade. Dylan Wade's right here on the left side on the end of the line of scrimmage, and he releases, and you'll see 25 come in there, and he's peeking in the backfield. And that is why he's so wide open.
Part of Alfrey getting more run today, Jonathan Cabea not playing at the nickel position for BYU. They're preserving that red shirt. He will be back next week for the Big 12 title game.
Good point, partner. Well, the Knights, they fly in from South Florida. Taven Jackson goes 7 for 8 for 70 yards. What a start for the Knights.
Well, I'll tell you who likes that, Kevin Connors.
Yes,
My
I
partner,
do,
Dustin
partner.
Fox, who won 3 times against the Michigan Wolverines.
That's right. And that bold strategy paid off there for the Buckeyes.
Well, a 7-0 start for UCF. Great opening drive for the Knights starting quarterback, Taven Jackson. And now the true freshman, Bear Bachmeier, will try to answer the call. He has been fantastic this year. Kalani Sitake told us, Dustin, he's a different quarterback every week because he continues to get better and better as the season goes along.
Well, that is the evolution of Bear Bachmeier. Every week he seems to get better at some area of his game. We all know what a great runner he is, but I think his passing game, as he sees different looks every single week, starts to really settle into the position.
Takes it to LJ Martin, feeling some pressure. Bachmeier dancing, ball is out, and he fell on top of it. Lewis Carter, their leading tackler for UCF this year, punched it free, and it results in a major loss on first down.
Well, Carter is the Mike backer, and he's right in the middle of the defense, almost like he's spying Bachmeier, just kind of waiting around, and at the very last moment gets in there, gets the ball out. Luckily for the Cougs, they're able to recover the football.
It's a loss of 10 for a quarterback that has been rarely sacked this year. Just 10 sacks coming into the game, which is 8th fewest in the country. 2nd and 20. And now the Big 12 leading rusher, LJ Martin, stacked up again by Lewis Carter. This was the fascinating matchup last week. Martin against Cincinnati. He just wore down the Bearcats defense. Had a career day in terms of carries and yards, and ultimately willed this team to victory in Cincinnati.
The team sort of sensed it, Matt, that LJ was going to get a bunch of carries, and as the game wore on, they thrived, and they started to really have a synergy behind LJ Martin as he got those 32 carries and sealed the victory on the road.
Screen out wide to the track star Parker Kingston, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but the punt unit will have to come out for BYU. Good opening series for the UCF defense.
Kind of feeling each other out a little bit here, and you know, for UCF, do have a player down on the field, Matt, but I think it's Jaden Bellamy, the corner, their top corner, who's down on the ground. But do want to point out, early kickoff here, Matt, in Provo, 11 a.m. local kick. And you do worry about these early kick times in terms of where you come out and have the energy. Seems maybe BYU a little flat to start this ball game.
We will step aside with the injury timeout. A 7-0 lead early for UCF in Provo.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tums Fast Heartburn Relief, so you can love food back.
The lone national title in program history back in 1984. BYU went 13-0. The high watermark in program history. Though this season has been very close as we take a look at the Capital One bracket. Right now, BYU on the outside looking in. First team out as of the latest CFP rankings, which came out this past Tuesday. BYU told us they're not interested in campaigning because campaigning's about talking.
Right.
Kalani Sitake said, no, I want to show. And today is another opportunity to show as Sam Vanderhaar boots a punt to Antoine Jackson. Cutting it back upfield. Jackson now with some room. And he is taken down out across the 45-yard line. Sherry Burris.
Well, Matt, I have an update for you. DB for the UCF, Jaden Bellamy was in the medical tent, but he is now out. But talk about this UCF offense. Head coach Scott Frost this week saying that they haven't necessarily always started well on the road, and you guys talked about it. 11 a.m. local kickoff, but down here on the sideline, I saw Coach Frost telling his guys, keep up the speed. There is so much enthusiasm. These guys want to keep rolling. And one player I even heard say, wake up. They are feeling excited about this fast start that they're having here on the road at BYU.
Oh, they've lost 8 games in a row on the road. Massive opportunity against a team with CFP hopes.
And Matt, for UCF, how about the starting field position because of that great punt return that set them up with a short field?
Taven Jackson had 7 completions on the opening drive. Floats this out of play. Well, their offensive struggles have often drawn criticism at the quarterback position. Certainly injuries have been a key piece of that. Cam Fancher was the starting quarterback coming out of camp, injured in the opener, returned for 1 game in the middle of the season, broke his ribs. It's been Taven Jackson's team ever since. In his first year as a true QB1 at the quarterback position. Here's a sweep to Dwayne Thomas Jr. Gets about 1.5 yards short of the line to gain. Brings up 3rd down.
You can see Montgomery gets a great block on that last play. So both those backs in the game at the same time, they will utilize both of them. And here you go. This is a 3rd and short. I mean, obviously Montgomery comes out the game for this one, so you got to think that 5's going to get this football. And, you know, listen, they're plus territory, Matt, so I would assume this is 4-down territory if you don't get it here on 3rd and short.
They are 2 for 2 on 3rd downs this afternoon. Boot for Jackson. And has a completed pass to Waden Charles. And a gain of 13. More than half of his catches have come over the last few weeks of the season. Charles has become a go-to target.
He really has, and he's somebody that the team responds to. They love being around him. He's got a great attitude for a young player. They say he's always smiling. His attitude is infectious. And for a day like today, when you're a 5-6 team taking on, you know, a top-ranked opponent on the road that could be vying for a college football playoff spot, these guys need all the energy they can have. And they certainly are off to a fast start.
Another catch underneath to Dwayne Thomas Jr., who began his career as a little recruited wide receiver at Charlotte. Was 4th on the team in receptions as a freshman, missed all last year with injury. This has been a breakout season for him, playing at the Power 4 level.
They call him Speedy, Matt. You can see some of that speed.
5'8", 175. He came to college 5'8", 150.
Oh, so they put a little weight on. He's almost up to your size.
Definitely after all the Thanksgiving helpings.
Oh, you were a track star with the Butler Bulldogs back in the day, partner.
You could drop the star and just insert any other word.
You got to give yourself some love, man. You're too humble. Another third down. Yeah, another 3rd and 1 here for the Knights. as they're approaching the red zone for the second time this afternoon. Boy, could you imagine if somehow UCF gets off to a 14-0 lead on BYU? Wow.
Perfect on third downs so far today. Need one. Montgomery looked like he got it. Now it will depend on the spot. And still no signal yet.
He's
Taven
walking
Jackson.
like he's going to give it to him.
Taven Jackson campaigning for a first down. And they will move the chains.
It's just a really good effort by Montgomery. Isara's the one who's there, 54. Kind of tries to bow him up right at the line of scrimmage, but the effort by Montgomery and the push to pick up the first down.
Jackson checks it down underneath. Wide open. Ajamin Adai. Touchdown. And a 2-score lead for the Knights to start in Provo.
Well, take a look at your backer right here. This is Jack Kelly. And you'll see as you roll the tape, it's going to leak out right at the last moment. And because he's running the opposite way, he's wide open and the defense is out leveraged. And you can see an easy pitch and catch for the touchdown. And the Knights off to a red hot start here. A perfect start. You couldn't script this any better for UCF. As Taven Jackson has started this game nearly perfect, Matt. He's been phenomenal, making plays on the run. Here he gets it on the outside. He got a touchdown, 14-0. Yeah, you're reading that right.
It's win and you're in. Look at him go! And he did not get there! The Big 12 championship.
Well, it would have been win and you're in for BYU today against UCF, who leads 14-0 with 3:39 to go in the first quarter. However, with Arizona's win last night against ASU, BYU already clinched a spot in the Big 12 title game against Texas Tech. Here is Cody Hagan with a seam, and he is tripped up right across the 30-yard line with a gain of 36.
Now take a look at these stats to start this game. Number one, it's very one-sided, and the reason being is the 18 plays by UCF. I mean, that's been the ball game. BYU's barely had the football, and at least now, I mean, maybe something positive here. That kickoff return could give them a little bit of juice to get some momentum for this drive.
They were behind schedule early with a 10-yard sack of Bear Bachmeier on the opening play of the game. UCF shows pressure. Down goes Martin in the backfield. Philip Dunham had the tackle from the safety spot. You can hear a pin drop right now in Lavelle Edwards Stadium, which is sold out. Over 60,000 expected at capacity this afternoon. Martin up the gut. Gains 4 or so. Brings up 3rd and medium. Now, the interesting thing, Dustin, they've been so good at home this year, undefeated. They've averaged 40 points per game offensively at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, but a slow start against a team with a losing record. Maybe some folks uneasy here in Provo.
It's a dangerous spot to be in, and I'm sure there are some people maybe thinking, boy, I sure wish that maybe Arizona didn't win that game last night, because as soon as they clinched the Big 12 title game, I think there's a little bit of that human nature that sets in that lets up just a little bit, and that potentially could be leading to this slow start.
Bachmeier got crushed in the backfield. Tiger Bachmeier, his brother, made the catch and got a first down.
And that's your center, Matt. Excuse me, your right guard.
Austin Leusa, one of the seniors honored earlier this morning. A 2-year starter transferring in from Southern Utah.
And boy, he
got rolled up.
Yeah, but Bear Bachmeier took a shot from Malachi Lawrence, 51 off the edge. Didn't seem
How
to
did
affect
Tiger
Bear
catch that ball?
I have no idea. It was an unbelievable catch, and really an unbelievable job of Bachmeier, Bear Bachmeier, to stand in the pocket there and deliver the football as he knew he was going to take a shot.
Now, this is an offensive line that's already down Waylon Lapao at left guard. They've rotated quite a bit this year. They feel like offensive line depth is a strength, but we will keep an eye on Leusa. This is an offense that also is without Chase Roberts. Felt like maybe he could have gone today, but with the hamstring, Dustin, knowing that the Big 12 championship game is looming, didn't want to risk re-aggravating the injury.
Well, you and I both know, as former athletes that have struggled with hamstring injuries, it takes time. The only thing to heal those things is time, and that is not on their side at this point, but they're hoping that an extra week of rest can potentially allow Chase Roberts to be able to play in that Big 12 title game a week from today in Arlington.
Well, now Kyle Safarchuk will come in at right guard behind Leusa. He has rotated at both guard positions this year. Wide open up the middle on the play action to Carson Ryan, the top tight end for BYU. And the Cougars in plus territory with a gain of 25.
Well, this is just a poor job by UCF in terms of their dropping to the flat and on the backside. He's wide open down the seam. It's a zone coverage, cover 3 all the way. but you got to have a dropper in the flat and in the curl, and there's nobody there for UCF. Just an absolute bust in the back end by the Knights.
They get to Martin again. Bachmeier evades a sack. Now with room to run. How did he get out of that phone booth? Gain of 7 after the pressure by DJ Bell.
I'll take a look here. It's going to be a corner blitz off the left side. DJ Bell is there. If he doesn't probably close his eyes, like I probably would have done on a corner blitz just like that when I'm seeing Bear Bachmeier. Bachmeier just steps up easily, avoids the rush, and nearly picks up the first down.
You mean you wouldn't have wanted to tackle a 6'2", 240-pound Bear Bachmeier as a corner in your days at Ohio State?
Brother, I got nervous meeting Bear Bachmeier yesterday when we had our meetings. I'm looking at this guy thinking, how the heck would I get this guy on the ground? Unbelievable.
Well, he's orchestrating a nice second drive right now for BYU, who has outgained 142-0 on the opening 2 drives for UCF. Scott Frost and the upset-minded Knights with a 14-0 lead after 1 in Provo.
Well, Coach Frost, that was a near perfect start for you guys on offense. What is working so well that you have this fast start and carry it now into the second quarter?
I think big thing, we're giving the quarterback time, and then our guys are able to get open downfield when we have that kind of time. Quarterback's doing a good job of staying in there, and we're a long way from home, but it was a good start.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Well, Taven Jackson went 10 of 12 in the opening quarter for 112 yards passing. Now Martin on the pitch, has a lane, and is taken out with a first down at about the 5-yard line. Good looking second drive of the game for BYU, whose opening drive went 3 and out. They look totally different here, Dustin.
Yeah, they really do. How about this block down the field? Carson Ryan, 20, is able to get the edge sealed off so that Martin has a free lane nearly to the end zone there as he sets up first and goal.
This is a top 10 red zone offense in the nation, scoring on nearly 95% of their trips inside the 20. Martin plowing ahead is down just in front of the goal line.
I actually think that Bear Bachmeier checked into this at the last moment, which just shows you the leadership and the poise and how smart he is in command of this offense, as he is just going to be a little short there, Matt.
Well, if he did check it, he checked it to the leading rusher in the Big 12, who's now top 10 all-time in BYU rushing history, as the Cougs are knocking on the doorstep. And they are in for a touchdown. 9th rushing TD of the season for Martin. And a good response from Kalani Sitake's team, who got down 14-zip early.
Matt, take a look at the center right here, right in the middle. We're talking about Mitchell. He is absolutely going to get a pancake block in the middle, and it's just a walk-in for LJ Martin. Completely domination up front there by the BYU offensive line.
Which was the name of the game last week in their win against Cincinnati. Ran the ball for over 265 yards. And that was a physically dominant drive for the first score of the game for the Cougs.
Well, LJ Martin just scores touchdowns. Pretty much all he does every week. And there's another one. 14-7 BYU trails from Provo.
You are watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Back in Provo, Utah, 14-7 lead for UCF. A lot of football left on the docket this afternoon. Doubleheader in the SEC on ABC, including the Iron Bowl, which has taken on even more meaning with Texas's win last night against A&M. Bama must win to get in to the SEC championship game. First two drives of the game, nearly perfect for UCF, Dustin Fox.
Well, I think that Scott Frost hit the nail on the head when he said they're actually giving Taven Jackson time to throw. And when he has time to set his feet, he's got a clean picture in the back end. He looks like a pretty darn good quarterback. I mean, he spins the football well. He's obviously showing a lot of accuracy. He's got some mobility. I like this young quarterback. I mean, he's played well today. But it's early.
18 plays, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns on their opening 2 drives of the game. Jackson again improvising, takes a shot downfield. He was looking for a dive. It looked like he could have stepped up and ran that ball. Instead, incomplete, 2nd and 10.
He absolutely could have stepped up and at least try to take off for maybe 5 or so yards. He did have Jack Kelly bearing down on him. Probably would have got him for about a 6 or 7 yard gain. Is he 17 there hustling with the big old neck roll? Yeah, that's right. Love that neck roll. That's a throwback to Pop Warner for me.
That's a young man you don't want to get hit by.
No.
There's a trick pass. Dwayne Thomas Jr. had it intercepted. BYU football. Evan Johnson with a takeaway.
Well, take a look here at Johnson. Johnson's here on the backside. So they're going to come in motion, right? He's matched up man to man. And so he comes across. He's actually in coverage against Thomas, who's throwing the football, and intercepts the pass that was intended for the quarterback, Taven Jackson. And he's thinking, oh my goodness, what did I just do? And for BYU, what a turn of events here. Huge.
Set up short field for this BYU offense. LJ Martin breaking tackles. The one thing Scott Frost told us they could not do is turn the football over. They now have an interception in 6 straight games against one of the top turnover defenses in the nation.
Well, listen, you know, Scott Frost, we talked to him this week. It's sort of like you throw everything at this game. It's the last game of the season. You're playing a top-ranked opponent. You're on the road. Like, throw the kitchen sink at BYU and see what sticks. However, they probably didn't predict, Matt, that they'd get off to a 14-0 start to the ball game where they actually had to play with a lead.
On the ground again to Martin. He is stuck by Cole Kozlowski. The transfer from Colgate, very close to the line to gain. Now, the first 3 drives of the game, it was all UCF, a BYU 3-and-out mixed in since a BYU touchdown drive that went 65 yards and an interception. And now BYU knocking on the door of tying the game at 14 apiece. Still a lot of time to play in the opening half. Third and short. And this could be a false start on BYU here.
False start, number 87, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's the tight end, Ethan Erickson. They had a 3 tight end set in for the 3rd and 1.
It's on the, yeah. You can see it's on the right side. You'll see the first helmet just go across early.
First penalty of the game for BYU. Has done an excellent job this year limiting the negatives. Not just penalties, but sacks, turnovers. 3rd and 6. Bachmeier, QB power, runs over a man for a first down.
I'm not so sure this wasn't a broken play. Bachmeier looks like he was going to fake the handoff at a mesh point and then decides, oh, LJ Martin's going behind me, so I better just take off and go, and he does. And it was a great improvisational play by Bear Bachmeier.
Well, the UCF defensive coordinator Alex Grinch told us when he watches the tape of Bear Bachmeier, it's as if he's wearing Teflon. The mindset of you can't get me, because he's that elusive, Dustin, and has that great of decision making. And that time he was got, slipped in the backfield, and the 2nd sack of the game for UCF.
Well, and you nearly had a hold on the outside. Kelly Lawson was the defensive end who was bearing down on Bear. And you can see the footing is just a bit of a struggle today by both of these teams, having a hard time getting those cleats in the field. And remember, I mean, this is a time of year here where we're talking about going from temperatures, you know, yesterday they were in the 60s, the sun was out, and then you freeze the field overnight. Woke up this morning, it's like 29 degrees.
Bachmeier a little bit too hot and out in front of Parker Kingston. And after it was 3rd and short, now 3rd and 16 after the false start and sack.
Well, Matt, this UCF defense this season, they've been pretty good. You know, they haven't really been the problem for the Knights thus far.
Now, their red zone defense, too, this year has been phenomenal. The best, in fact, in the Big 12.
Bend but don't break.
Need to get to about the 6-yard line to extend the drive, and they cannot. Philip Dunham, who has a sack and now a pass breakup, came to play this afternoon.
This is such a physical hook and swat by Philip Dunham. I mean, talk about a rice bucket award. I mean, this guy's got forearms that are like ridiculous. Knocks the football down. You got to be strong with the finish, and it's a great job by Dunham to force the field goal attempt.
After it was 3rd and 1 just a few plays ago.
That?
40-yard field goal attempt here from Will Farron. Farron hooked it left. No good.
Oh, my goodness.
And the UCF defense stands tall after the pick gave it to BYU in plus territory.
I thought for a minute maybe somebody got a hand on it, but he just hooks it, Matt. Just absolutely hooks it.
That's now his 3rd miss of the year between 40 and 49 yards. The preseason All-American, and Scott Frost loves that.
Well, because it's a huge stop to the momentum that BYU had. I mean, this game was 14-0 UCF. BYU says, okay, we're going to wake up now. They go down, they score, and then it looked like they're going to go score again easily. Well, they stopped the bleeding. UCF did here, and now they get the football back with a lead midway through the 2nd quarter.
A pitch on 1st and 10 goes to Jaden Nixon. He is upended by Evan Johnson. Well, Scott Frost also told us when you asked him what the recipe is, aside from the turnovers, we need a big special teams play. A miss by Will Farron from 40 yards certainly could be slotted into that category.
Yeah, they score more than 20 points. They'll be in a good position to at least have a chance to win the game when it comes to the 4th quarter. And you're right, Matt, the special teams, they have not had great special teams all year. They haven't been bad, but they haven't been great. That was a big stop, maybe just more of a miss by the kicker, but nonetheless, it gets the football back to their offense with the lead.
Pressure in the face of Jackson, and he just killed that football. A smart decision to evade taking a loss, and now 3rd down and 9.
You got to think, too, it's a little bit of like uncharted waters here for UCF. They haven't had a lead very often this year. And imagine having a lead on the road against a top 10 team. That's a different spot to be in. If you're UCF, you want to be aggressive here. You don't want to just be super conservative and say, well, we've got a lead and we need to run the football. Like, I think you go into your bag of tricks, you run everything, as Coach Frost told us this week. They'll throw the kitchen sink at BYU.
Jackson had time, back shoulder throw, and he sailed it, looking for Walden Charles. Started the game 10 for 12. He's since gone 0 for 4. And credit to BYU's defense that has found ways to heat him up a little bit more under defensive coordinator Jay Hill.
And Jay Hill is a tremendous defensive coordinator. He's done a great job. It was a kind of a home run hire to steal him away from Weber State. Just up the road in Ogden, Utah. But I love his style of a defense. They're aggressive. They do a great job disguising and giving the quarterback that they're playing different looks.
End over end punt. Parker Kingston will fair catch it just across his 40-yard line. There is a flag down by the line of scrimmage.
Illegal formation, more than 4 players lined up in the backfield. Kicking team, that 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the dead ball spot. First down, BYU, timeout.
So BYU will start another drive with excellent field position, trying to tie the game at 14 in Provo.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
ESPN College Football, presented by Tums, is brought to you by Fairlife. Enjoy great taste and nutrition with Fairlife Ultra Filtered Milk.
Well, these two teams met 5 years ago in the Boca Bowl with a couple of NFL quarterbacks. Zach Wilson for BYU, Dylan Gabriel, of all people, for UCF.
Go Browns.
Here is LJ Martin, Out across the 50-yard line. Another great starting field position drive for BYU after a 36-yard punt by UCF's Anthony Veneri, plus the 5-yard penalty tacked on at the end. The last drive for BYU stalled in the red zone and resulted in a missed 40-yard field goal.
Man, how quiet has it been in here this morning as we're obviously an 11 a.m. local kick. UCF got up to that red hot start, and it's really, I think, put the crowd on their heels quite a bit to start this game. They need something from this BYU offense, an explosive play, a chunk play, to get them, out of their seats and give them something to cheer about here.
Well, Aaron Roderick, Kalani Sitake told us, doesn't get enough credit for what he's done with his offense this year. Completely revamped it late in the summer after Jake Retzlaff transferred to Tulane. They had initially intended to run a hurry-up offense, pared the offense down quite a bit. Then they had to pivot to run an offense for a true freshman quarterback in Bear Bachmeier, who gives it to LJ Martin for a first down.
And what's so interesting about that is, as we take a look at this timeline with their quarterback situation here at BYU, is they had to install all that stuff when Jake was here. And so when Bear got here, everyone else knew this new spread offense except Bear Bachmeier.
The thing that makes it even more impressive, Bachmeier went through spring ball at Stanford. So they had to install it, Dustin, with literally 2 months to go before the season began. And all they've done is win football games, a top 30 scoring offense in the nation. And their offense finding some rhythm after their opening drive went 3 and out. 6:45 to go in the opening half. Here's Enoch Nawahine, who has found himself basically as the backup running back when he began the summer as the 4th stringer, but injuries and departures allowed an opportunity for Nawahine, who began his career at Utah State, to step in behind Martin.
Well, and he's done a nice job, especially considering the fact that Sione Moa has been out really the entire year for the most part. They're hoping that he may be able to get back for a bowl game, a playoff game, maybe next week, who knows, as he had a pretty significant injury early in the season. But you're right. It has been a lack of depth in the running back room, and LJ Martin, who also is banged up, has had to carry a huge workload for a guy who's playing banged up throughout this entire regular season for the most part.
Leads the Big 12 in carries at 32 last week in the win against Cincinnati. Long throw here is caught by JoJo Phillips, who's been limited to about 5 games this year with a broken collarbone. We expected him to get some looks early. That's his first reception.
Yeah, does a nice job here against Antoine Jackson, number 7. Breaks off his route. And I love the throw by Bear Bachmeier. Steps into the throw. It's so quick. The ball is out before JoJo Phillips even comes out of his break. An easy pitch and catch for the first down.
Well, BYU's offense has found something here in the second quarter. They also got their right guard, Austin Leusa, back. Play action. Bachmeier with time. Back shoulder grab. It is stopped inside the 1-yard line, and the football came out at the end after the catch and run by Carson Ryan. UCF is saying they have it.
Well, there's a conversation being had, as you can see, that Cole Kozlowski is the one with the football.
Still no signal.
Ruling on the field is that the runner's forward progress was stopped at the 1-yard line. It's 1st and goal, BYU.
Initially, I thought that the forward progress was for sure stopped. Let's go back and take a peek. Now, this is in real speed. Like, he's stopped there. I mean, I think that's the right call, Matt. I really do. Great effort by Kozlowski and that entire defense, including Jackson, to hold him out at the end zone. But that play was held up.
UCF just burned a timeout, and they were this close to getting that turnover that Scott Frost
I think he just wants to talk to the officials a little bit more in a nice way.
That's one way of putting it.
What do you think he's saying to the officials? Sir, can I have a conversation?
I'm not a lip reader, but I don't think it's what you would call Thanksgiving table pleasantries.
Yeah. Sir, how was your Thanksgiving? Mine was good. How was yours?
Now he's flashing a grin. Well, this week on Sunday NFL Countdown, all the playoff implications in Week 13. Plus, Sam Darnold goes one-on-one with Jeremy Schaap before facing the Vikings for the first time since leaving Minnesota. And all the top plays from your backyard turkey bowls this week. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. A couple of nice throws on this drive by Bear Bachmeier. One to JoJo Phillips. One to Carson Ryan, and sets up a potential game-tying touchdown inside the 2-yard line.
How about this heavy package?
And it's Martin marching in for a touchdown, his second of the game. So after trailing 14-zip at home to start, BYU with 13 unanswered.
You got Bear in the backfield right there. And then, of course, how about this? You got a lineman, 64, Safarchuk, in the backfield as an extra blocker, an extra body in there to just basically blow everybody out of the way and allow LJ Martin to walk into the end zone.
7 plays, 54 yards. 4-minute drive for BYU.
Well, BYU didn't show up for the first quarter, but boy, they sure have here in the second quarter. 14 unanswered, and we've got a tie ball game here from Provo.
Well, there is the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más Student Section of the Year. who will take home the trophy this year. Over 60,000 on hand at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And the Rock student section was in here over an hour before kickoff.
Well, these first couple of drives of the game, absolutely fabulous for the Knights. The last 2 drives, how about 1 yard, a punt and a pick.
What's changed?
That's a recipe for disaster.
What's changed in your mind?
Number one, I think BYU woke up and realized they got to play some ball today against a team that came in hungry to fight for a bowl game. And I think for UCF, they were like a little bit stunned themselves that they had a lead, a 14-point lead. And so they were in a position to play with the lead, and now all of a sudden they're like, okay, back to neutral.
Delayed blitz picked up nicely. Jackson hits Dylan Wade, who scored a touchdown in the first quarter. Gain of 16. Best play of the second quarter so far for UCF's offense, who you said had to score more than 20 points today to win this game. That is now abundantly clear after the 2 touchdowns in this quarter by BYU. They've only done it twice, though, so far this fall, scoring 20 or more as an offense. On the end around, here's Dwayne Thomas Jr., and he is strung out. Jack Kelly was in there.
Now, the one thing you can say about this BYU defense is that they play fast and they fly to the football. And you love to see that from a really physical defense. They do things the right way, and that all comes from their defensive coordinator, Jay Hill.
Well, speaking of playing fast, Sherry Burris heard something on the UCF sideline during that last change of possession.
I did, guys. There's a strong emphasis on playing with speed. I overheard some of the coaches emphasizing that with their guys. And Dustin, it is apparent just how fast this UCF team is playing. Especially from the skill positions, I think.
Well, that was blown up immediately. Logan Latui was in there with Bodie Schoonover, and it brings up 3rd and long.
And maybe that'll change as the game goes and wears on. But to the early portions of this game, I think the receivers, the running backs, and even Taven Jackson at times, they're playing at a different level. And now BYU's playing a little bit of catch up here, and they're starting to fly to the football a little bit more. And that makes all the difference. This is a big 3rd down, and you know Jay Hill is going to be given a different look here pre-snap. They're going to move their safeties right before the snap.
Jackson checks it down. Nixon using that speed, but slipped out of bounds at midfield. Jaden Dunlap was there to usher him out. And now 4th down for this UCF offense. Is it go for it territory? No, it looks like Scott Frost is going to try to play the field position game.
I think if they had maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 more yards and they were inside BYU territory, you would consider going for it, but not here. No, you try to pin these guys deep. Your defense has been pretty solid, to be honest with you, not just throughout this ball game, but all season. It's been the offense that has really held them back.
Anthony Veneri's last punt only went 36 yards. This one much better, sending Parker Kingston inside his own 10, and it will take a BYU bounce. Well, now time for More Than a Home Team, brought to you by Cracker Barrel. And the flip for BYU after they were outgained rather, 142-0 over the first 2 drives of the game, has looked totally different since.
Yeah, completely turned it around. They got a turnover. Their defense woke up, and their offensive line started playing a little bit of bully ball up front against the UCF defensive line, and LJ Martin took advantage.
Last 3 drives have all been sound for Kalani Sitake's offense. One of those resulted in a missed field goal, but only because on 3rd and 1 they had a false start. Otherwise, it looked like they were marching for a 3rd touchdown. BYU won the toss and elected to defer, so an opportunity here to potentially put together a 2-minute drive and go 2 for 1. Bachmeier under pressure, heaves downfield. That pass was caught by Phillips, inbounds. What a grab.
And Matt, he gets that right foot down, inbounds, coverage on the play by Marshall and Jackson. It's double coverage. How about this catch as we go to break with the 2-minute timeout? JoJo Phillips came to play today. Chase Roberts is on the bench, taking the week off, trying to get healed up. How about JoJo?
I want Trevor Matich's thoughts on that from Cosmo the Cougar here at BYU. Great catch by Carson Ryan after the double-digit gain going into the 2-minute timeout by JoJo Phillips. Dustin, it just feels like this BYU offense now going tempo has all the momentum.
It really does feel like this entire building has come to life in the last probably half an hour of real time.
Flag is down in the backfield. Martin strung out after great effort by Bear Bachmeier to wiggle out of pressure. Looks like this is going to back up the Cougars.
They may have got Jada on the hold on the left side.
Our referee, Michael Vanderveld.
Holding number 71. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Now, a couple of penalties in this first half for BYU's offensive line has put them behind schedule.
Well, watch 71 here on the outside. That's Jada. He grabs the jersey of Cole Kozlowski and does just enough to turn the body, pulls the body right here. as he's trying to get to Bear Bachmeier, and that's an easy call.
Bachmeier with time. Down to Martin, who gets out of bounds. Still all 3 timeouts for BYU. They will get the football coming out of the halftime locker room. And if you're just joining us, Kalani Sitake's team trailed 14-0 after the first quarter. Could actually have a 17-14 lead right now were it not for a missed 40-yard field goal. They have totally flipped the script in the second quarter here in Provo.
It's a huge third down for the Knights.
7 to go. Bachmeier delivers a dart to Kingston. His first catch moves the chains. And a gain of 15.
It's a great job by Kingston. The ball's thrown low by Bachmeier. Kingston slides in, secures the catch right around midfield, and keeps the drive moving.
Pressure off the edge. Bachmeier with time. Kingston again, now in a foot race. And he was tripped up maybe by the turf monster. Inside the 20-yard line. Picked up 29 that time.
Boy, Braden Marshall, the nickel, number 4, right inside. He's playing that inside leverage tech. He's expecting help inside. He gets no help, and that's how Kingston's so wide open over the middle of the field.
UCF down a couple of safeties today due to injury, so they are thin at that position. And we talked earlier in the day about Aaron Roderick, Dustin, the offensive coordinator for BYU. He has found something now in the second quarter.
And just to go back to the field conditions and how slippery it is out there. Remember, it was warm yesterday, very cold this morning. The field's starting to thaw out a little bit, and you can see the slippage right there at the middle field safety. That's Dunham trying to get over there to help out his nickelback, Braden Marshall. He's not able to get there.
There is Aaron Roderick up in the booth. WWE Survivor Series War Games streaming tonight on ESPN at 7 Eastern. The main events are the 5-on-5, the double ring, and the steel cage, Dustin's favorite. You cannot miss Survivor Series War Games tonight, 7 Eastern.
I'd like to see you in a steel cage.
I want no part of that. Imagine seeing Bear Bachmeier in the steel cage.
No, I don't want to see him.
Nicknamed the Centaur by the Portland State head coach after week 1.
We will be talking more Centaur as we go later in the broadcast.
Play clock winding down here. Just got it off out of the timeout. LJ Martin sifting through tacklers. Brought down by Cole Kozlowski. Do you think about taking timeouts right now if you're UCF? Doesn't look like they're going to. And BYU continuing with this hurry-up offense. 2nd and 7. Bachmeier evading pressure, flag down as Kingston caught it and I believe stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, they're going to get a face mask here, Matt, on UCF. Isaiah Nixon, number 6, is the one who's trying to rush Bachmeier. And as he gets in there, he grabs the face mask of Bear, and that's going to get called. So it's going to be a 1st and goal.
Personal foul, face mask, number 6. Defense. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down. BYU is elected to take the play on the snap at their option.
You can see the face mask right there. I mean, that's how difficult it is to get a hand or anything on Bear Bachmeier to try and get him to the ground. So you get your hands on something, you're going to grab it and try to slow that young man down. And Scott Frost is not happy.
You surprised at all that Scott Frost hasn't considered taking a timeout? I mean, that just went from 56 to 31, and they don't get the ball coming out of half.
I don't think he would be aggressive if they got the ball back. I think he's happy to let the clock run. He would, frankly, Matt, I think he'd be thrilled if he could hold him to field goal here. So the time is, in his mind, working against BYU.
Still those 2 timeouts. BYU 1st and goal to go. Just inside the 10-yard line. They will get the football to start the second half. One of the best red zone offenses in the nation, scoring 94% of the time. On the sweep, it's Kingston. Could not turn the corner. Took a shot on the back end of that play by DJ Bell. Listen to this hit.
Listen to this coming right at you. Oof, a little helmet to helmet there between Bell and Kingston. I felt that up here.
I think Parker Kingston felt it a little bit.
Man.
A young man that dealt with hamstring injuries in the preseason. Really wasn't himself over the first 4 weeks of the year. All 7 of his touchdowns, though, have come in the last 7 games. Finally healthy, completely changes the dynamic of Aaron Roderick's offense.
No, there's no doubt that it does when he's playing at that high level. And then when you add in the fact, you know, Chase Roberts, when he's healthy, he's out there. And then Carson Ryan, who's really stepped up. Those are all amazing weapons on the outside for Bear Bachmeier to throw the football to.
1 timeout left for Kalani Sitake and Aaron Roderick. 2nd and goal. If it gets to 4th down, do you risk getting stopped or do you kick the field goal?
Depends how close you get to the goal line. I mean, where are we at right now? About the 6-yard line? I mean, if you get this thing down inside the 3, I think you'd consider going for it.
UCF would love to hold them to another field goal. Bachmeier pumps, now in trouble, taken down in the backfield. 3rd sack of the game for UCF. And it's Kelly Lawson, the Virginia Tech transfer.
Well, they're going to bring 5, and really on the left side, Kelly Lawson's the one that's the extra body in the box. See Lawson right there? He's the extra man who comes in there, and as Bachmeier realizes, oh, this is great coverage in the back, and I got nowhere to go with the ball, it's too late.
BYU's offense had given up 10 sacks all year coming into the game, Dustin. That's good for 8th fewest in the country already in the first half. This night's defense has picked up 3 on Bear Bachmeier.
They played well, and you pointed out earlier in the game, Matt, this UCF defense, one of the best defenses in the red zone.
Third down and goal for BYU after a 10-yard loss. Football went from the 6-yard line to the 16. Alex Grinch's defense for UCF has been up to the task against one of the top scoring offenses in the country this year.
Well, you can't take a sack here, Matt, and obviously there's no timeouts left.
Bachmeier with time, checks it down. Now Martin going to try to get out of bounds. He did with 12 seconds left. And now 4th down from about the 10-yard line.
How about the lick that L.J. Martin takes here from Lewis Carter, 20. Take a look at 20 come over here right as L.J. Martin's about to go out of bounds. Oof. That's just 2 grown men having a violent collision.
Well, now Will Farron will come out to attempt his 2nd field goal. Missed from 40 from the left hash. This from 26. Same hash. This time he puts it right down the middle, and it's BYU's first lead of the game with 9 seconds left in the opening half. Well, for 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made by donating to participating universities' athletic scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Hard to believe. BYU a 3-score favorite coming into this game, and yet they lead for the first time, Dustin, with 9 seconds left in the opening half.
Well, it was 14-0 to start the game. It was really a struggle for BYU to wake up, and they did here in the 2nd quarter. 17 unanswered. And now the question is, for UCF, can you regroup at halftime and say to yourselves, okay, we're only down 3 points. You just said it. They came into this game as nearly a 3-touchdown underdog, and they got off to a really, really nice start to the ball game. I think for UCF, they know now that they can play with BYU. They've got the speed, they got some athleticism, and if Taven Jackson can take care of the ball, they'll have a chance, and this will be a tight ball game in the second half.
Squibber will get all the way back into the end zone off the foot of Will Farron.
Can't imagine UCF does anything with this other than take a knee and go to half.
Well, they started the game with 142 yards on their opening 2 drives. Since, less than 20 for this UCF offense under first-year starting quarterback Taven Jackson. They've been banged up a little bit this year. They have been snake bitten by self-inflicted wounds. It's been their defense that's kept them in games, and certainly that has been the case in this game. And they will sit on the football and take it to halftime. A 17-14 lead for Kalani Sitake and BYU. Still in the hunt for the college football playoff. We send you to studio with Kevin Connors and Cougar alum Trevor Matich. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Tums. 17-14 at the half here in Provo, Utah. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State captain, Dustin Fox. This game really was a tale of two quarters. BYU down 14-zip in the first quarter. They scored 17 unanswered to close the first half. They'll get the football coming out of halftime. What'd you like from BYU to flip the script?
I think they woke up in the second quarter. And for UCF, they just got to continue to maintain drives.
Yeah.
They're not used to playing with leads. And they had a 14-0 lead at one point in that first quarter. It's something that they're just not accustomed to. All those stats for UCF, they all happened in the first quarter. I mean, they did nothing in the second quarter. And basically for BYU, exact same thing. All those stats were mostly in the second quarter. So here we go. We'll find out which team is awake to start the third quarter.
First half stats brought to you by Tums. UCF received the football to begin the game, so it's BYU to start the second half. Sherry Burris.
Well, Matt, Coach Frost says they have found themselves in these close games before. They sputtered there a little bit. You guys were talking about the second quarter, but he likes the way they started. And he said the pass rush is so good. That is how they've been able to get to Bear Bachmeier. 3 sacks in the first half. Now, talking to Coach Take, he says they finally settled down in the second half because UCF was putting them in compromising situations, forcing them to make some of those mistakes. But now they have 17 unanswered points. They have back-to-back possessions to start the second half. He says they need to keep sustaining by keeping things simple and sticking to fundamentals.
Great stuff, Sherry. That sideline report brought to you by LinkedIn. Here's Bachmeier. First big carry of the game for their second leading rusher, who led a 2-minute field goal drive at the end of the first half to make it a 17-14 game.
Yeah, pretty rare for Bear Bachmeier to have negative yards rushing in a half. That tells you all you need to know really about how UCF played defensively on Bachmeier in that first half. They were keyed in on him. Obviously in that first quarter, he did make some plays, but I do think that they're going to need him to make more plays with his legs here as we go in the second half.
Keeper, Bachmeier, wrapped up out across the 40 by Damari Henderson. Gain of 8 to move the chains.
Maybe I was in the headset of Aaron Roderick right there. As I just said, he needs to be a little bit more involved on the ground here in the second half, and there he goes. First down gain. Keeps the chains moving.
Well, he is second in the Big 12 with 11 rushing touchdowns behind only Texas Tech's Cameron Dickey, and where he ranks in rushing yards behind only Taysom Hill in terms of single season gains. Bachmeier underneath, caught by LJ Martin. And this is the cadence with which we saw BYU operate on their 2 touchdown drives in the second quarter. A little bit more tempo, quick throws, and then leading to the big play. And as Kalani told Sherry at halftime, felt like Bachmeier settled in as this game unfolded in the first half. He's now hit on the last 9 passes. Fake it to Kingston underneath Martin, first down. And this is the type of offense that all the fans here in Provo have grown accustomed to seeing, and why there's such an argument, Dustin, for them to be an at-large contender for the CFP.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, their offense is really starting to hum here in the second half of the season. And you see plays like that, it really makes you understand how talented this offense can be. They fake the handoff to Kingston. Everybody on UCF's looking at Kingston thinking he's going to be running out the backside with the football. And then they just hand it off up the middle to LJ Martin, who's untouched essentially for, 5 or 8 yards.
Now it's Bachmeier, could not get out of that tackle by Jaden Bellamy. Well, we've really only seen their offense once this year stifled, and that was against Texas Tech, their lone loss to a top 5 team who they will get a rematch with next week in the Big 12 title game.
Now, they also had multiple turnovers in that game too. That certainly was a big reason as to why they were not able to get more points in that game. I was listening to Coach Saban and the fellas this morning talking about that matchup again next weekend, and boy, it's always tough to beat two teams twice in the same year.
Almost intercepted instead. A monster gain by Carson Ryan, dragging bodies inside the 20-yard line after a gain of 22.
Boy, I have no idea how Philip Dunham did not intercept this pass. Number 2, right there in the center of your screen. He's coming right down, right in front of the ball. It's right there, and he just cannot get his hands on it. It almost makes you wonder, did he close his eyes? Looked like me trying to return some serves yesterday from some of the folks at BYU on the tennis courts. Caden Hassler, one of their top stars here at BYU.
Now Bachmeier among the fewest turnovers in the conference. Just 4 interceptions. Throws it out to Kingston. He is wrestled out of bounds by Antoine Jackson. And BYU up in the turnover margin, +1 after a pick on the opening drive of the second quarter for UCF's offense. That's what really flipped the script. It came after the first score of the game for BYU, and Bachmeier has been elite.
That is just, as you said it, elite as elite can get.
Martin wrapped up. Navy gets 1. Johnson was in there. Now he continues to move the pile. Whoa! Turns a half-yard gain into a 4.5-yard gain.
I don't think people realize how tough and physical LJ Martin is. I mean, this play was stopped. I mean, initially right there, basically in the backfield by Jamal Johnson, and then he just ends up in a scrum and pushes for another 3 yards.
Long opening drive of the second half. This is where BYU wears you down. Martin got the first down. Now goal to go inside the 5. And a late flag comes in. And BYU pointing at UCF. Something after the play.
Yeah, this is just going to be on Henderson for essentially remaining on top of
There are 2
Nakua.
fouls on the play after the play is over on sportsmanlike conduct number 19, offense. On sportsmanlike conduct number 2, defense. Their first, fouls cancel. Result of the play is a first down.
Yeah, it was Philip Dunham, Tiger Bachmeier. Dunham was so good in that first half. Had a major pass breakup and a sack. And now Scott Frost, a little conversation on the sideline. Not a whole lot there.
Yeah, I didn't see much.
Tell you what, there's a whole lot more going on in Ann Arbor this afternoon than that.
Yeah, they're playing in a bit of a snowstorm up there in Ann Arbor right now. Thought we may see a little bit of precipitation here in Provo today, but no, it's been a little bit of an overcast afternoon.
Direct snap, LJ Martin, 10th play of the drive. Muscles it near the goal line. Is he in? No signal. Touchdown. His 3rd. What an opening drive to start the second half for BYU. 11 plays. And it ends with the 11th rushing touchdown of the year for LJ Martin.
So they put 95 in the game. Comes right in your screen. That, of course, is Trevin Osler.
Previous play of a touchdown is under further review.
I don't know why they're reviewing this. You can't see anything.
Yeah, there's really nothing to take a look at here, and the officials are right on the line. They're coming in, they're saying it's a touchdown.
It'll be our first review of the afternoon on a beautiful Saturday in Provo.
It is a gorgeous, gorgeous afternoon.
Nothing but bodies in the picture And the other thing BYU fans have grown accustomed to is seeing LJ Martin move piles.
Well, both Martin and Bachmeier both go, you know, Bachmeier was 238 pounds this week, Aaron Roderick told us on the scale. And we know LJ Martin is well over 220, 225 at 6'2".
Those two told us about their relationship with each other. They get private workouts in together, and then they finish it up with a milkshake at Cold Stone over in Orem, Utah.
Ruling of touchdown is upheld.
No surprise there.
You gotta love it. It's just like so wholesome, right? I mean, you got this veteran in LJ who's been here for 3 years, and you could look at his numbers the last 2 weeks. Those are pretty good. I'll take those all day. How about the 5 touchdowns, 2 combined? Not bad. But then you get this 18-year-old kid coming in here who's your starting quarterback, and they instantly develop this bond. And they want to work out. They want to bro out and go get some milkshakes, man. Like, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Love that.
That sounds fantastic.
It does sound fantastic. I love that attitude, the work ethic. And then you cap it off with a nice little Cold Stone.
24 unanswered points for Kalani Sitake's BYU Cougars. Up 10 at home. You are watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Look at that live picture here in Provo, Utah, the Wasatch Mountain Range, elevation 11,000. And down below, at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, a sellout for Senior Day. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox, Sherry Burris with you. 24 unanswered for BYU after they trailed 14-zip in the first quarter. What does UCF have in store? Big Monday Night Football features Drake May and the AFC leading Patriots hosting the Giants. New England looking for a 10th straight victory. Tune in at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, plus Peyton and Eli on the Deuce. Long wait to get onto the field here for Taven Jackson. Remember, BYU ended the first half with the ball. Then they went 5 minutes with the football to start the second half. How do you get Taven Jackson going like we saw him over the first 2 drives?
It's a great point. It's probably been almost an hour, Matt, of real time since Taven Jackson's taken a legitimate snap.
And he is sacked in the backfield. First of the game for BYU. Tausili Akana.
Akana's unblocked, Matt. Off the outside. UCF just doesn't have enough bodies to protect Taven. And Akana's right there. Easy play in the backfield.
Foxy, first 2 drives of the game, 10 completions for Taven Jackson. Since, he has 2.
Well, and the biggest difference, I think, has been he hasn't had a clean pocket. And you saw it right there. I mean, they've done a much better job, BYU that is, of getting after Taven Jackson here in the second half and in the second quarter.
They brought the pressure again, and a check down to Kylan Fox goes 1 yard. And now 3rd and forever for UCF, whose defense is really hoping for something other than a 3 and out after they were just on the field for over 5 minutes to start the 3rd quarter.
That sign made me chuckle. Big 3rd down here for UCF. If they go 3 and out, I mean, you can already sense and feel the momentum and the energy in this building, Matt. It's palpable. There's no doubt.
Delayed blitz up the middle. Kelly. And an underhand flip from Jackson. They'll say an incomplete pass, and indeed a 3 and out. Jay Hill dialing up the pressure on all 3 plays on this opening drive of the 3rd quarter for UCF.
Yeah, Jack Kelly right here in the middle. He's going to get a twist here. Excuse me, a twist.
Number 2.
And then he's going to come through the A-gap on the backside, unblocked.
4th down.
And they did just rule this an intentional grounding. And really, Taven Jackson had no other options.
No, I mean, actually, I give him credit for trying to get rid of the football.
Well, Dustin, we talked on the opening drive of the second half about BYU's offense. Their defense has been nationally elite. Top 15 in scoring, 3rd downs, red zone, and of course the turnovers. And they have dialed in after the opening 2 drives of the game went for touchdowns for the Knights. And now the dangerous return man, Parker Kingston, at the 45. Dicing it up the middle. There goes Kingston. Past 1 tackler. House call. 55 yards. His first punt return for a touchdown this year. It is all Cougs in Provo.
Well, Matt, down the field, you can see Kingston gets north and south. There was really one man on the UCF coverage unit that had a chance to make the play, and that was Jaden Gould. He was the first man down, but as he's trying to break down, you could tell the footing just wasn't quite there. He couldn't break down in time, and Kingston just making some baller plays out here today through the passing game and now in the special teams game. House call. Cougars up 31-14.
Well, a monster doubleheader later on this afternoon and tonight in the SEC. Oklahoma trying to stay in the college football playoff hunt. Meanwhile, Alabama must win to get in to the SEC championship game after Texas upset A&M last night. And now time for a little AT&T Bracket Insights blind reveal, Foxy.
Love it. Do you want me to guess?
Drum roll.
Just drum roll? There we go. Oh, there's your reveal. How about
this
that?
is the argument that everyone here in Provo has, partner. 6 wins against top ranked against teams with winning records is what I'm trying to say, which is top 5 in the country. And there's a feeling around here that there's a bias against the Big 12 on a return out to the 20-yard line by Jaden Nixon.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, BYU's only loss this season is to Texas Tech, a top 5 team in the country. Okay, you've got those Oklahoma and Alabama have ranks or losses to unranked opponents. Bama lost to Florida State early in the year. And you can see how Florida State has been playing thus far. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about bias. I try to see it down the middle. But BYU, to me, as we prepared for this game, as I've watched them all season, for them to not be in the college football playoff, if their only loss is to Texas Tech, and they get to play them again next week, we'll get to see them have another opportunity. Even if they lose that game, if their only 2 losses are to Texas Tech, a top 5 team, and they're not in, I just don't see it.
Flag comes in late. John Tamuepeau had the tackle of Miles Montgomery. We will wait for the cleanup of this, but it looked like Tamuepeau threw him down late after the whistle.
The play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, you just got to let him go. I mean, you got him wrapped up. The whistle's blown. The extra push just isn't necessary. I mean, it wasn't egregious, but you just got to be a little bit more aware in that moment that that's going to get called.
It's a BYU defense that has not allowed points since the first quarter. Quick throw is complete. DJ Black's first catch of the game. He is a home run hitter, former track star at South Carolina. Somebody that you would expect to get more catches in the second half playing from behind.
And you would think so. I mean, he's probably their go-to big play threat on the outside. You said it there, Matt. He's a track star. Guy was a former Division II All-American. Had over 1,000 yards receiving at Limestone.
Benjamin Adai in a tailback, clean pocket. Jackson, deep shot, incomplete. He was looking for Dylan Wade. Raider DeMooney was in coverage for BYU. 3rd and short, ball at midfield. You would think this is go for it territory for Scott Frost.
1,000% going for it on 4th down if you don't get it, which means this 3rd and 1 could be take a shot play. They just took one on 2nd and 1. I would not be surprised here, Matt, if they go right back to that well and take another shot through the air, deep down the field, knowing you're going to come back on 4th and 1 and go for it.
They have converted 4 of 7 on 3rd down today. Fake it to Montgomery, and the pass is dropped. Could have been a first down, but Waden Charles could not haul it in, brings up 4th down.
But beautifully thrown football by Taven Jackson. Past the line to gain. This ball maybe a little behind Waden Charles. Not really. I mean, you get 2 hands on the football. That's got to be caught and should be a first down. But they still have another opportunity here, 4th and 1.
Quick snap, Montgomery, first down. And now UCF.
Matt, that was a heck of a cut.
Territory for the first time in a long time.
Sorry, partner. That was a heck of a cut by Miles Montgomery, because this thing, if it was designed to go inside, but watch the cut. Right here, he's going to get in there, he's going to cut outside. Sorry for my terrible scribble, but that's what happens. Great cut.
This is a needed drive for UCF that has seen BYU score 31 unanswered. Jackson, dangerous pass, and Evan Johnson had the coverage. Now, Taven Jackson has had a winding road to get to UCF. Blue chip recruit coming out of Indiana, went to Tennessee, backed up Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker, both now in the NFL. 2 seasons at Indiana. One of those, he was in a season-long quarterback battle with now Cincinnati quarterback Brennan Sorsby. As Dwayne Thomas Jr. takes the stretch play near the 40, brings up 3rd down. And this year, Jackson was not the starter coming out of camp. It was Cam Fancher who was injured in their opening game of the season. Sort of forced Taven Jackson into this role. And with injuries around him, has done his best to keep his team in games. They've been competitive all year.
Well, you can certainly see the talent that Taven Jackson possesses. Throws a beautiful pass. I just think he needs kind of a more clear picture and to have good protection. Not to say that things have to be perfect, but when they are, he sure looks perfect.
Trick play here underneath. Dwayne Thomas Jr. with blockers. Cuts it inside the 20. Thomas Jr. wrestled out at the 10 by Bamba. Great play design and even better execution by the Knights. A gain of 30 plus.
Great block here by Dylan Wade down the field. I mean, Wade's the one. See zero? He's the lead blocker. You're falling behind that big dude. Gets a good block there, cuts inside, and Thomas is able to get it to about the 10-yard line.
There's Montgomery.
You know, that was such a big play, Matt. It seems, or at least it felt, when BYU just most recently scored to make it 31-14, that this thing just, you know, BYU could maybe name the score at this point. They've sort of woke up. Their offense is clicking. Defense is playing at a high level. But I got to give UCF a lot of credit and Scott Frost and his club, because they fought back here on this drive and they have a chance to get back in the game.
Direct snap, a dive, flips it to Jackson for a touchdown. The trickery of Scott Frost. He told us they would throw the kitchen sink at BYU this afternoon. Their first score since the opening quarter.
I'll take a look at what we got in the backfield. We got big dudes back here, right? And those guys are not going to touch the football. It's more of a distraction, right? Everyone thinks it's going to be a wildcat, and you're just going to run it with a die up the middle. Taven Jackson is wide open on the outside. And a pretty good throw, by the way, by the young freshman running back.
Now has a receiving touchdown and a throwing touchdown this afternoon for UCF. Ruelas makes it a 10-point game again in Provo.
Well, Scott Frost said he's going to throw the kitchen sink at BYU. Want to call that a kitchen sink type of play? Quarterback catching a touchdown pass to make it a 10-point game.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Tums. Finally, UCF stops the bleeding after giving up 31 unanswered. Beautiful touchdown drive led by Taven Jackson, keeping them in this game against Bear Bachmeier, who has not had an incomplete pass since 10:09 left in the first half. And Bear was barefoot pregame. Little grounding here in Provo, getting set for this big game, and he really settled in, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, he really did. Looked like Chris Fowler out there on the field before the game. I see him doing a little of that grounding, getting himself present in the moment. That's what Bear did. And after that second quarter, he was nearly perfect. Finding Parker Kingston right there, and here we go with another drive. Can they respond with another touchdown drive?
They get to Martin. Bear loading up for a shot. Now trying to scurry out of trouble. Come on. Downfield for a completed catch and a first down. Noah Moyaki, the tight end, with the catch.
This is just a straight scramble drill that is executed to perfection by Bear Bachmeier. Incredible.
Now 200 yards passing today for the true freshman quarterback. Takes a shot over the middle, caught by Carson Ryan. And for more on Bear Bachmeier, we send it to Sherry.
Well, Matt, you guys were talking about how many completions Bear has had. I want to let you know, down here on the sideline, he has sliced his finger, right hand, his ring finger in that crease pretty significantly. It was a very deep cut. He was working with trainers. They put some gauze on there, even using a little liquid bandage. He was wincing. He did have that gauze back on his finger, but we're going to keep watching this, but his finger does seem to be okay.
Well, Sherry, a dude wearing 47 playing quarterback is not coming out of this game for a cut on the finger. We know this.
You think a little blood's going to hurt a Bear? Come on.
He told us, I'm a football player first, and I happen to play quarterback.
He's going to rub some dirt on that, and he's going to be just fine.
47, obviously, the nod to his youth football playing days as a linebacker and running back. Still plays that way. Just happens to have the big arm to boot.
Trying to set up a screen here, Matt, and just not going to have the timing. Walker's in there immediately. They let him go probably a little too soon. And Bachmeier just basically aborts the play, lives to fight another down.
And a big third down for UCF's defense, which has failed to get off the field really since midway through the second quarter against BYU.
Don't look now. If they are able to get off the field and get the ball back, and that's a lot to ask.
Underneath Martin, and he is stopped shy of the line to gain.
Decision time for Kalani Sitake. Got a 10-point lead. You're about to go to the fourth quarter. I would punt the football.
Looks like he's going to leave his offense on the field after Martin tried to put his foot down and cut towards the first down marker.
You know I like to gamble, Matt, and I'm a big-time roll the dice kind of guy. So in terms of punting the ball and your defense, I put it up against UCF and say, go 90 yards.
BYU third in the Big 12 on fourth down conversions this year. Leave it in Bachmeier's hands. Over the middle, caught, first down and more. The 100-meter state champ is in for a touchdown. Parker Kingston for 46.
Whoa! Well, there's a reason I'm up here and he's down there. I'd be fired as head coach. What a play call by Kalani and Aaron Roderick, the offensive coordinator.
On the UCF bench. Moving on the field is a touchdown. Try for point.
That 10-5 speed. And the throw, a dart by Bear Bachmeier.
And because the threat, Matt, of Bear Bachmeier to take off and run for the 3 yards, it kept all the linebackers close to the line of scrimmage.
A backbaker by Bachmeier.
It's a tongue twister.
On 4th and 3, house call for Parker Kingston.
Well, the threat of Bachmeier is what really holds these linebackers home. So you got all these linebackers here, right? As we roll the play, you're gonna see Kingston's gonna come in here. But all these guys, if we can freeze it right there, they're here. And so behind them, Kingston comes right wide open. A great throw by Bachmeier. And a house call, second of the day for Parker Kingston.
Parker Kingston having a career year despite the hammy that limited him over the first month of the season. And of course today, no Chase Roberts. They've leaned more heavily on Parker Kingston. They do expect to get Chase Roberts back next week for the Big 12 title game in a rematch with Texas Tech. But the throw by Bear Bachmeier. You mentioned the threat to run. He was called a centaur earlier this year by an opposing head coach, and this little music video was made by a BYU fan.
Bear witness, he's a gosh dang centaur. Half man, half legend, running like a star. You can't bring him down, he's breaking the law of gravity, faith, and football. Bear witness, he's taking it far. True freshman heart, BYU's avatar. He's leading the charge, stand up where you are. Bear witness, he's a gosh dang centaur.
Wow.
Wow. No words. But I do have that stuck in my head for the rest of the day, which tells you how great that is.
If you're wondering what a gosh dang centaur is, it's a Greek mythological creature. Half man, half horse.
Hello.
And it's the lower body that's the body of a horse. And you got to stand next to Bear yesterday. He is built like anything but a traditional
He probably
quarterback.
thought I was like a creeper or something, because I came up and I'm like, put my hands on his shoulders just to feel how like thick it was in his upper body, right? But you could just see his lower body strength, like his legs, his thighs, Matt, were like tree trunks. Just, he's unbelievably built, put it that way.
Taven Jackson with a scramble will likely take us to the 4th. Bear Bachmeier with a back-breaking 4th down conversion to the house in response to UCF's first touchdown of the second half. They lead it 38-21 as they continue on their quest to a college football playoff berth. 1 quarter left in Provo. Sold out Lavelle Edwards Stadium after the BYU touchdown. They are juiced. And moments ago, Sherry caught up with Kalani Sitake.
Well, Coach Sitake, the final 15 minutes here of the regular season, how did you like the way your team responded to that adversity in closing out this game?
Pretty good. I mean, we can play better. You know, we're giving up too many plays on defense, but I love what the offense is doing. Special teams made a play, so we just got to keep it rolling. We got 15 more minutes and trying to build some momentum for next week. So we got to get this thing going.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
David Jackson under pressure, almost intercepted by Darian Alexander III. And it brings up 3rd and 7.
He was trying to find DJ Black, who was open, and tries to make a difficult catch. He's the one that ends up tipping the ball in the air, and then, of course, coming right behind is the defender, Alexander. Nearly comes away with an interception. It would have, maybe he would have returned it to the end zone. Who knows? Either way, that probably would have sealed it.
Jackson under pressure, zips it out, caught, 1st down. And it's Charles with a gain of 11 after the pop at midfield.
Akana had the pressure, but this is an unbelievable play by Taven Jackson. I mean, shows tremendous poise in the pocket. He's stepping up, and he's able to get away just enough to find Charles to pick up that 1st down. That's a tremendous effort by Taven Jackson.
Jackson again escaping pressure. Not that time. Ball knocked out. BYU football. Raider DeMooney with the takeaway. BYU is 10-0 this year when getting at least 1 turnover. This, their 2nd of the day.
Taven Jackson knows he's got to tuck the ball. He tries to tuck it, and then at the last moment, he's not able to secure the ball. Jack Kelly's coming in to make the tackle. And then right at the last moment, DeMooney is the one, number 3, who comes in there, knocks the football out, and comes away with it. A tremendous effort by the BYU Cougars defense to get another turnover in this ball game. And that one, I'm not saying it's over, but it probably seals it at this point, up 17.
Underneath, Martin churning, gets a few more. He is such a load, and particularly at the end of games when he really starts to wear on opposing defenses.
Well, this is an area of the field, and with 13 and change to go in the ball game, looking ahead to next weekend against Texas Tech in Arlington, as Kalani said there, they want to build some momentum going into that game. Well, this is an opportunity here for the big boys up front to really buckle up their chin straps, dial in, and give them a big heaping of LJ Martin, essentially.
Patiently cuts it back. 1st down inside the 35. Well, they know they're going to Arlington. They knew that last night after Arizona beat their rival Arizona State. What is still up for discussion is whether or not BYU could potentially steal an at-large bid were they not to beat Texas Tech next week. And that's part of why this game today was also so important. An opportunity to show, as Kalani Sitake told us, that they are deserving to be in the playoff, regardless of what happens in Arlington next week.
If there are only 2 losses, and again, they can win next week. But if they don't, and that is how it ends up, great play defensively there by Malachi. Malachi Lawrence, 51 on Parker Kingston. But to go back to our conversation about the college football playoff, Matt, if at the end of the day the 2 losses are to Texas Tech, top 5 team in the country, how do you get that? Why is that held against you?
Let's just play this out. They take care of business here today. They win this game. They lose next week. Do you think it matters how that game is played in terms of whether or not they were to get an at-large bid?
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these committee members and everyone that, you know, has a role in this whole thing, they watch the games.
Screen to LJ Martin. Gets a couple. Will bring up 3rd and about 10. As BYU has scored on each of its last 4 possessions. UCF trying to get off the field here and keep this a 17-point game. We showed you the blind reveal. Their resume stacking up against the likes of Oklahoma and Alabama. 6 of their wins against bowl-eligible teams have come on the road, including in back-to-back weeks against TCU and Cincinnati. They have put together an inarguable resume. The only thing that's arguable is whether or not the Big 12 is deserving of getting more than one team in. And I think you and I are aligned on this. The answer to that is yes. This league has been terrific this year.
No, it has been a really good year. I don't think that they get talked about enough on a national landscape. But think about last night. I mean, BYU goes on the road, has a double overtime victory against Arizona. People were like, is that a good win? Well, Arizona's a darn good football team that ends the year 9-3, beating Arizona State last night, right? An Arizona State team that beat Texas Tech. I know Texas Tech didn't have their starting quarterback at the time. Point is, the Arizona win's a huge win. The stretch that they had, basically from that Arizona game, and that's no good. We'll talk more about this, Matthew.
Well, Will Ferrin misses his 2nd field goal of the game, leaves the door ajar, perhaps, for UCF. They'll get the football when we come back.
The college football playoff selection show. The bracket will be filled. Judgment Day is here.
Now, Judgment Day looming December 7th, noon Eastern, on the heels of Conference Championship Day on December 6th. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox, Sherry Burris with you after the missed field goal by Will Ferrin. UCF with the football, down 17, and floated out of bounds by Taylor Jackson. We were conversing about BYU's chances, Dustin, before that last break to make the CFP as an at-large bid, and then bigger picture, the Big 12 being worthy of getting multiple teams in.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think there's anybody else outside of BYU and Texas Tech that are worthy. But when you look at these two teams, I mean, Texas Tech has one loss. That was to Arizona State. That was without their starting quarterback, and they nearly, they had the lead with a minute to go on the road. That tells you something. And then BYU has one loss to that very team, Texas Tech. I think, maybe the second or third best defense in the country. That's going to be grounding.
Yeah, this is going to be intentional grounding. I'm not sure the ball got past the line of scrimmage. Kalani Sitake was on the field as the ball was exiting the field of play, motioning for it. They continue to converse.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside the tackle box and grounded the ball legally beyond. It'll be third down.
My eyes deceived me. 3rd and 10. Need a conversion here to stay relevant in this football game if you're the Knights. 4-man rush. Clean pocket underneath Montgomery. Now, is he close enough here to think about going for it? I think yes, if you're Scott Frost.
I would say yes. I mean, it's going to be, what, about 2 yards shy? Maybe 3?
3.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're down 17 points. There's probably not 3 more possessions left in the game for UCF. You gotta get this one.
And it's really more like 4.
Yeah, you're right. It's a long 3.
Ball spotted just across the 36-yard line. Thomas Jr. in motion. Fake it to him. Underneath, Adjamin Adai, who's had a big day for UCF. Double-digit gain to extend the drive.
Everybody thinks that this ball is going to go around the backside, and it doesn't. Everyone's looking at number 7, Dwayne Thomas, thinking he's going to be involved in something, and then they just slide Adai out the backside, wide open.
Quick throw out wide back to Adai, who has become a star late in this season, despite being a walk-on. Got more reps over the last couple of weeks due to injuries. 2-time state champ from Miami, Florida. Wanted to play Power 4 football, didn't have many opportunities. Has found a home at UCF in his first season. There's all kinds of movement there on both sides, but I think this is going to be a false start on UCF.
Prior to snap, false start. Everybody but the center. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well said by Michael Vandervelde.
Yeah, just keep it simple. We don't need a laundry list of numbers.
Second and 10. Taven Jackson trying to lead a comeback here in the 4th quarter. Big play wasn't there. Now escapes, reloads, downfield, almost caught by Charles. Nearly a touchdown. Rather, Damerkant was the intended wide receiver. And it's incomplete.
I'm not sure exactly who the ball was intended to go to, Matt, because they were both there. There were 2 receivers there that thought they had a chance at it. 12's Jenkins. Jenkins is wide open. He's calling for the ball, and then he goes and tries to basically cut off Wade and Charles.
And it actually was, in fact, Wade and Charles who made the diving effort for the play. Regardless, brings up 3rd and 10. Nixon cuts it back, somehow turned that into a positive gain. And now a much more manageable 4th down here for UCF.
Well, 4th down has been pretty positive down for UCF today. They're 2 for 2.
They've already converted once on 4th down on this drive. Time is not on their side. This has been a slow developing drive for UCF, down 3 scores, less than 8 minutes to play.
Well, BYU is going to make you work for it. There's no doubt about that. This is a situation here where you got to use motion. They're in man coverage. BYU is.
Blitz comes. Jackson hit. Downfield. Incomplete. And BYU gets off the field. Taven Jackson wanted a pass interference. Won't get it. Bearcats take over.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tums Fast Heartburn Relief, so you can love food back.
Not many game day environments like Lavelle Edwards Stadium. 60,389 on hand for senior day in the final regular season game in the foothills of the Wasatch Mountain Range in Provo. We had a chance to talk with their senior safety, Tanner Wall, yesterday. We said, Tanner, what do you think about playing in your final game at Lavelle? He said, well, we think we're going to have one more. I said, what do you mean? We want to host a playoff game here. Imagine that.
Certainly a possibility, and it would be an epic environment.
JoJo Phillips will want that one back. Yeah. Dropped it at midfield. Certainly a possibility if BYU were to get in and be one of those middle seeds. You would think they would have to win the Big 12 championship game, though, to be.
You would think. Now, listen, there is more chaos that could take place, I'm sure. But I think it depends on how that game goes. If BYU plays a tight game and they lose it on the last-second field goal, how are you keeping this team out?
Alahine with a nice run. The big difference this year, of course, with the CFP bracket is that unlike last year in which the conference champions got the automatic bye to the second round. This year, that's not the case. 5 highest ranked conference champs automatically get into the playoff, but then there's a reseeding of the bracket. And as we continue this conversation about BYU's worthiness to get an at-large bid, just that lone blemish against the top 5 Texas Tech team that just steamrolled West Virginia on the road. Parker Kingston has steamrolled the Knights defense. 2 touchdowns already, as he's a little shaken up after a 20-yard gain.
That's the last thing you want to see is Parker Kingston kind of hobbling coming up there after a big catch here late in this ball game.
First Big 12 player with 100+ receiving yards, punt return, and a receiving touchdown in the same game. He's also the only BYU player in history with a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown in the same season. This BYU team feels like they are going to be even better next week. They'll get Chase Roberts back. They hope to get Waylon Lepaho back, their starting left guard. And then, of course, defensively, they'll get some injured players back as well. Bachmeier is a magician, finally taken down after a small gain by Damari Henderson. But they were missing 3 pretty significant pieces on defense. Onisi Purcell at nose, Max Alford at the backup Mike linebacker position, and then Jonathan Cabea, who has turned into a starting nickel for them over the last handful of weeks, all out today. Third down and 9 for the Cougs. Bachmeier pulls it out. Oh, it looked like he was.
I think it was a backwards pass.
Yeah, he's across the line of scrimmage, slung it back to Cody Hagan. And
what do you do here, man?
Kick it?
And they're going to attempt the field goal here.
By Will Farron, who's missed twice today from 40+.
Yeah, that was definitely a backwards pass. He's already missed 2 kicks today.
This will be from 50. He has hit 3 times from 50+. His 2 misses were from the left hash, this from the right. And he splits the uprights from 50 yards. 41-21 lead for BYU.
If we get Foxhole, great. If we don't, no big deal.
Thanks, Kevin. That's a big game for Oklahoma. Still, of course, in the hunt. Top 10 team trying to get into the CFP. They, of course, will not go to the SEC championship game, but hoping for an at-large bid in this contest today against LSU, an opportunity to cement themselves in the minds of the committee, as today is for BYU. Now, of course, they'll have another opportunity to do that and potentially even keep the committee out of it and just win the Big 12 title, which has been this coaching staff's dream and goal since they ushered the program into the Big 12 3 years ago.
Well, that was what Kalani's message was really yesterday. We talked about it. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm not in the business of campaigning, because that means you're just talking up your team. I'm in the business of showing people. Well, I mean, he can show people by winning today, which they are going to do, and then go next week, neutral site, and win the Big 12 championship.
It's interesting. We talked about this being senior day. So many returning starters. As we take a look at the college football playoff bracket brought to you by Capital One. Bottom left of your screen, BYU, first team out. Last year, they started the year 9-0, top 10 in the country. Lost back-to-back games to Kansas and Arizona. And all the returning starters, 14 of them, talked about how this year they wanted to finish and maintain keeping their season and their destiny in their own hands. They did that today, despite being punched in the mouth early, trailing 14-0.
No, they've responded in a big way, and it's probably a good thing for them, frankly, Matt, you know, to have a little bit of a test, to face a little bit of adversity the week before you have to go and play Texas Tech one more time. Let's see if UCF can keep this drive alive and convert this 3rd and 4.
They cannot. Broken up by DeMooney, who has a fumble recovery and now a pass breakup in the second half. And UCF will keep the offense out for 4th and 4.
Tatum Jackson has put the ball in pretty good spots. You know, that to me is a pass that should be caught. It's delivered right in the middle of the numbers.
BYU defense wants one more signature stop on a Saturday afternoon in Provo. And they will get it. The defense, which gave up 14 straight points to start the game, has given up just 7 since the end of the first quarter.
It's almost like BYU's entire squad arrived at at LaVell Edwards Stadium for the second quarter. You know what I mean? It really does feel that way. I mean, there's the one drive in the second half by UCF, but for the most part, I mean, this has been just a straight dominating performance for 3 quarters.
And they are going to get some late season work by a few of their backups here on offense with a 20-point lead and 3 minutes to play. This is a BYU team that will finish the year undefeated at home for the first time since 2020. On the ground to Nawahine, and a penalty comes in the vicinity of a hold.
Yeah, there's going to be a hold up front
Holding
on 72.
Number 72. Offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
Joe Brown. With that call.
Now, McKay Hillstead transferring in from Utah State, where he started 4 games rather in 2023, has been a great sounding board for the true freshman Bear Bachmeier, who had never started or thrown a pass in a collegiate game this year. Here's Nawahine breaking tackles. That was a stiff run, and now some extracurriculars after the play.
Speaking of extracurriculars,
tell us more.
I got some extracurriculars in yesterday and on Friday, or excuse me, Thursday and Friday. I got a chance to visit with the tennis team here, the men's tennis team. All set up by head coach Zach Warren, who's not able to be in town, but introduced me to Hal Boyd, and then Jonathan Sanchez, and then Tim Smith, and then I got to hit with Caden Hassler, who's one of their studs here on the men's tennis team. How about that? Thank you to all here at BYU. Appreciate you.
Cosmo the Cougar does some pretty insane tricks during football and basketball games here at BYU. It is not one student, but multiple in a very highly trained group of anonymous BYU students.
I would love to know who's under the costume.
I also want to know what is included in their training.
Well, yeah, good point.
It's like special ops.
Yes, like beyond that, you have to be like an unbelievable gymnast.
Yes. A little bit, you might have to have a screw loose or two to do a flip through a hoop of fire at a football game.
Yeah, yeah. They've definitely got a different deal going on there, and I love it though. Cosmo is one of the great mascots in college football.
So BYU will move to 11-1. 8-1 in the Big 12. Cosmo loves it. A backflip for the 41 points scored on the final regular season home game, as BYU will end the 2025 campaign undefeated at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And all Kalani Sitake has done since getting into the Big 12 is win. They will now have won 22 of their last 25 games as a member of the Big 12 conference over the last 2 seasons, and hoping to get a 23rd next week in Arlington.
And the most important thing about today
BYU
is that all those seniors get to go out as winners in their final home game, and that they get to cap the regular season at 7-0 at home here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Something they don't do, they haven't done that often. Did it back in 21, I believe, and then also I think in 20. But it's been a minute.
Well, and on the other side, Scott Frost, second stint at UCF, will end year 1, which has been a challenge, but with building blocks upon which to continue to grow this program. They'll finish the year 5-7. And he's excited about the future in Orlando. Told us there's far more resources and support for the football team than there was just a handful of years ago when he led them to their best season in program history in 2017, a 13-0 American Conference Championship season. Now, this year will come 1 win short of reaching the postseason, but certainly some momentum building in Orlando for a team that is looking to get into that next level in the Big 12. And they're going to miss that young man, Cole Kozlowski, who transferred in for his final season of college football.
Tackling machine.
Salute to you, Cole Kozlowski. Began his career at Colgate.
Matt, Cole Kozlowski, by the way, what a great story he is. You know, he led the Patriot League in tackles. You know, just a beast. Dude never played linebacker before college in his life.
Those are the positive stories of the transfer portal.
Absolutely.
70 new players this year for UCF, including the 2 on that play. Belfort, a transfer, and Adai, the true freshman. Future is bright for UCF, but even brighter for BYU. 11-1, 8-1 in the league, and they will now set their sights on a trip to Arlington for a rematch with Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game. Final play of the game goes to Adai, and he is tackled at midfield. A senior day victory for the Cougs in comeback fashion, and Bear Bachmeier's legend continues here in Provo.
Well, it was not the best start by BYU, but they certainly faced some adversity, and they responded in a big way. And I think that's probably a good thing for them before they go into the Big 12 championship next weekend.
Rare that they found themselves in 14-0 holes this year, particularly lately, as they've been so good. And for more, Sherry has Coach Sitake standing by.
Well, congratulations, first, Coach, on the win. You said you didn't want to campaign for the playoffs. You didn't want to talk the talk. Do you feel like you guys walked the walk today and made your case?
I think we just got, I mean, played football game. I think UCF, give them a lot of credit. They're trying to get bowl eligible. And so, you know, I like the way we responded after going down 14-0. But, I mean, we're just going to try to stay humble, keep working hard. Got a lot of improvement to make between now and next week. And, you know, we get the one next week, then we don't have to worry about anything.
All right, well, congratulations on the win. Big 12 champions also. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Guys.
Sherry, thank you very much. A 41-21 victory to cap off an excellent regular season for BYU. 11 wins. Will it be enough to get them into the playoff? For Dustin Fox, Sherry Burris, Matt Schumacher saying so long from Provo, Utah. We send it to Kevin Connors and Trevor Matich in studio.